one of the hallways, there was a mirror. In the mirror, there was a man. It did frighten me a lot. I'm hoping it was your husband, but truly it was a man in a mirror. I saw him, and that is just what we're going to have to all deal with.
He's in the bedroom. He's locked himself in the bedroom. I legit don't know. This is not a bit. I don't know. He is in the bedroom.
I don't like her house, Brian. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
It is over 100 years old, so God knows how many murders have happened in that outside locked door room. So let's ascend the stairs of the hallway. And if you see, there it is. Now we're riding the right leg of this woman's hallway. And it's over 100 years old. And I must tell you, I have been electrocuted by this house twice. And every hallway needs a door that you lock from the outside at the top. I could throw in this rescue dog, Toby, if you want. He goes in here for safety, and he heard the lock, so I got to put him in there now.
The only question I have is, where does this stair go?
Before you go, but hallway to hallway access just for you, Ryan.
Hallway access just for you, Ryan. Just for you, Ryan.
And we're not muted anymore. That's amazing. I'm learning technology right as we go. It is PM Chicago for Real. I'm TJ Shanoff. So good to be back with you right here on Chicago for Real. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a very exciting show. It's not my show today. I'm turning it over to three friends of mine who are part of a great improv show online that's usually every Tuesday night. But today they're here to plug a special Valentine's Day weekend live show with a couple special guests. Let me bring them on in here. From the cast of Girls Night In, please welcome, wait a minute, Carisa Barreca. Hey, Carisa.
Hello, TJ. How are you?
What? Sayjal Joshi.
Hi, Teach. What's up?
Friend Ashley Comeau from Girls Night In.
TJ, there's ghosts in my house, TJ.
There's ghosts in her house.
There are ghosts in her house.
There are ghosts in her house, and I think we need to talk about that.
Yeah, we need to talk about it.
Step one would be leaving. I mean, if you feel that's like an option. I mean,
yep.
You know.
Absolutely.
Like TJ, property values in Toronto are way too high for that.
Tell me about it. And that's what I really want to dial into today is Toronto property values. Now, you know, folks in Canada, it's really... Guys, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited. This is my show, but today it's your show. You're all friends of mine. I've worked with you on a ton of things individually and collectively. But this show, Girls Night In, which runs every Tuesday night, has a special Saturday show. Somebody tell me about this, please.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Look how fun. We already have people loving. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Hello.
We do have one note from Kevin.
Kevin would like us to talk more about real estate.
Talk more real estate.
And I'm finally happy somebody's bringing this up. I'm on Redfin every day. And
for other reasons.
Yeah, I need to move up from Kevin. Kevin and I live together currently, but we are going to get separate houses. Full houses.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because this is actually, I know you thought we were going to talk about a comedy show, but this is actually an intervention.
Okay, thank you.
Carissa, listen, we really think that you and your we call him floor boyfriend on our show. Maybe Carissa can explain why we call him that.
Well, he was crawling around in the background of a shot just to try to get out of the shot, but he was absolutely in the shot, crawling through the...
Because we all work and live in the same hell now.
Yes. Yes, we do. There's stronger words than hell for what you just described, Sayjal. But
Is
yes.
this a PG-13 show?
Oh, this is, you can say, the only rules on Twitch are no hate speech and no nudity.
Oh, fantastic.
That's
No
fantastic.
problem.
So,
No nudity.
So,
What if
Sayjal,
it's
we're going to let you go.
tasteful?
Tasty, that's kind of nudity. Tasty nudity. Tasteful, I mean.
Tasty nudity, absolutely.
That was my IO team back in 81. So, guys. This is
You guys remember IO?
Yeah, he go.
No.
Here's a list of all the improv theaters closed. Every improv theater that
All
you
of
know
them.
closed. The form is dead. Try something else instead. Improv was always a myth.
Oh my
Oh.
God, that's very good. That is very
So good. So
Wrote it
good.
in 81. Did I mention? Okay, so tell me about the Valentine's Day Girls Night In. Let's hear all about it. How can people find it? Tell me about this.
You can go to gnishow.com for all details on not only our special show on Saturday, but also our weekly show. We do it every Tuesday. Our Tuesday shows, we give them free. That is our gift to the world. It is our Tuesday shows are always our free shows. We want to
Because
make
we're
sure
so used to not getting paid to improvise that it
Number
just
one.
felt weird. You know,
ask
it
for
felt
money.
weird
to ask
get
for your
paid.
worth. It felt
Yeah,
weird to ask
We're
for
so
our
used
worth.
to doing work for free, so we want to
Oh.
continue that tradition.
I like to say in a more positive way that it's to keep live theater front of mind for our customers, patrons, supporters, consumers, family, and friends.
This is why we let Carissa talk.
Also, it does make it more accessible for people who are going through tough times during
Yes,
this
that is very
shit time,
true.
right?
That is
So,
very true.
so
And the
people
last
can
thing
give what
people
they
want
can.
is like, that's very true. And it's a very different experience to go into a theater and be surrounded IRL than it is to be on yet another Zoom. So yes.
True.
And
true.
honestly, we have so much fun doing those Tuesday night shows. It's literally just like us goofing around for an hour. And
Yeah.
TJ, you got to join us, and we
Couple
hope that
times,
you join
yeah.
us again. Yeah, we really love having you on, and we hope you come back and join us again, because that is just too much fun, my friend.
You guys have an incredible music director who I only met
We
from
do.
doing this, Ayaka, who is phenomenal.
Yes,
She's
she is.
incredible.
We
Yeah.
are so lucky to have an entire team of women who are just honestly phenomenal and truly putting in so much work for very little to no pay all the time, just because we want to bring this joy to the universe. And also
Wait a minute. This is improv, right?
Yes, it
Okay,
is
just
improv,
making-
which you might not have found the joy in improv in a couple of decades, but we have, and the key is, and this is the secret, Teach.
Lean in, everyone.
Everyone, like, really get really close. You can't give a fuck about anything. That's the key. I think it's like performing with your friends and not giving a fuck, and I think that's great. Can I say fuck? I think I can.
As
You
long
did.
as you're not naked or committing a hate crime, you can say whatever you want.
I love this.
Okay, so like on this line of not giving a fuck and having fun with your friends, Carissa and the GNI ladies had the fun idea of making another show on Saturdays, because we do have international fans, and when we do it at 7 p.m. Chicago time, 8 p.m. Toronto time on Tuesdays, it does leave our UK, Japanese, Australian, South African fans in a bit of a time zone crunch.
Yeah,
So
my
we
mother
started-
wakes up at 6 a.m. to watch our show on Tuesday
Right,
nights.
right. So
She's in
Wow.
India,
started
so
doing these shows on Sunday in the afternoon, like a brunch show, because one, you brunch with your girlfriends, and we're going to get back to that at some point in real life. And so we might as well, remain the memory of brunch. And two, to have all of our international guests have a chance to play with us, have a chance to volunteer and watch the show. So we have one coming up on Saturday for Valentine's or Galentine's.
Hey,
Yay!
Valentine's Day.
It is actually Galentine's Day. We looked it up yesterday. The 13th is actually Galentine's Day.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a better day for our show, honestly.
That's a thing? I thought that was just like
yeah.
a colloquialism. I didn't know that was a thing.
maybe
Yes,
it
the
started that
13th.
way, Teej, but now it's a thing.
Maybe in
Kevin
Canada. What?
Maybe in Canada.
That's a
I don't know
tagline to any good joke, by the way.
Maybe in Canada. Well, let me talk about real estate in Canada.
Oh no! Oh no!
Can you
He's
give us
gonna
a
show
quick tour?
ghost.
This house right here went for $1.7 million, and just half of it, it's a semi-detached, and it went for $1.7 million. Now that's just nutty. And I will say, Perletta, my 98-year-old neighbor, no one asked for this, but here you go. Actually, Kevin Soretta asked for this. So Kev, this is for you. She bought her house, which would be worth $1.7 million. She bought it in 1963 for $15,000.
Oh my God.
You can't get a decent car for that these days.
can't.
No, you
Not
can't get a
these days.
decent fucking burger for that money at this point.
Maybe in Canada.
Maybe in Canada. And actually, going back to the show and Canada briefly, our guests this week, on our very special guests this week, are Canadian, and Ashley actually was the one who secured them. So Ashley, I feel like you should be the one who announces them.
I would be honored. Our special guest for the February 13th Girls Night In Valentine's Day brunch show is better than Drake. It's
What?
Debra McGrath and Colin Mochrie.
How about it? That's amazing.
We're very
Uh,
excited.
lovely.
We're very,
They're-
very excited.
Two
love.
veterans of the comedy scene, both Second City alumni, I believe.
Yes, they are. That's
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And of
It's
course, Colin Mochrie on Whose Line Is Anyway for such a long time. I got to work with him on I think you do corporate shows enough. You work with enough people. Like everybody's worked with Tim Kazurinsky somehow, but Colin Mochrie is one of those people that I worked with on a gig who is as nice as he appears to be. Like, and I think that's a Canadian thing, Ashley, for real. Like, I think I can count on one hand the number of shitty Canadians I've worked with. Canadians, just, I don't know what it is, but you're all like really nice and good people.
Right?
We're just sad.
No.
Adopt a Canadian today. They need your help.
Oh,
You don't want to come here.
You want to adopt
yeah,
us?
you don't want to come here. We want to
I'm
come
here,
there.
I would say we're stuck in between the Commonwealth of England and America. Sometimes we can be brave and like stand our ground and have really strong spines, and then other times we'll just grin and bear it and apologize for something we didn't even do.
Just roll over like a dog showing submission.
Somebody scratch Canada's tummy.
Aww. It
So,
deserves it.
For those who have not seen the show, and I've been lucky enough to have seen it and also participated in it, what's the format of a Girls Night In show? What can people expect when they tune into this?
I'll field that.
I
Format of a Girls Night In show. Carissa is our fantabulous host of the evening, and we do scenes, songs, games, audience volunteer stuff, all kinds of stuff. We always have a special guest, and that special guest is generally someone that we know from the comedy community. That performs either a solo piece, or they play games with us, or we construct games to play with them. Last night we had Nicole Thurman on, and she was fantastic. And we came up with some games for her that were specific to her fame. Because she's a amazing writer, amazing performer, and she wrote for the Emmys last year. So we came up with an Emmys themed game. It's all improv, and then we also came up with she writes for a variety show. What is the name of the variety show, Carissa?
Sure. Well, the variety show she writes for is called Sherman's Showcase. So
Yeah.
we called her game
Thurman's Showcase.
Synergy.
Mhm.
I mean,
See
I
how
just
that
felt like, oh, it really worked for us.
But it's super fun, and everybody that comes on the show is amazing and hilarious and wonderful, and we have a really good time with them. And our chat actually has now turned into its own sentient being, and the chat is its own person, and we refer to it thusly as the chat. The chat is always correct. The chat always wins, and
They're undefeated.
They're undefeated. We have a very loyal base following of amazing people that have been with us since the beginning. And we're looking into merch. So we will keep everyone posted about chat merch for
gosh.
them. So
That's the dream.
We're
Yeah.
always looking
Chat
at
always
wins.
people.
Mhm.
Chat always wins. I wonder if that's Mark. I don't know. I'm just gonna maybe guess.
The Fleming.
Yeah. Fleming.
It is Mark, and he just directed the Second City
March.
staff show.
Mm.
This
Ah.
yes, online on Twitch. I watched it. It was fantastic. So
Nice.
congratulations there.
That's awesome. And let's put a pin in this for a second, because what is Second City?
I know I'm sorry. I was using some inside baseball term just there.
You know what's funny though? I have gone places in the United States where people don't know. So I mean, I don't know how international of a following or national of a following you have on your show, Teach. But
I mean, I'm kind of global. Sayjal, I've been global for a decade. You and I've done many shows in, say, Houston, where I'm recognized.
I mean,
right
we
away.
we used to go to Texas. This is not a joke. TJ and I used to go do corporate shows in Texas probably 2 or 3 times a month. Not a bit.
Wow.
And we
That's
stayed
a
in
lot.
sometimes. And then there was one in Houston, and I can't remember the name of the client, but we always stayed in this giant hotel in Houston. And my room was always like, the view out of my room was always the pool, which was Texas shaped.
Oh no!
I'm sure there's people that know what hotel this is. It's a massive hotel in downtown, I believe Houston, and not Dallas. Not Dallas. I
It's
think
Houston. It's right across from the ballpark, right across from where the Astros play. I
Yes,
know
and
that, yeah.
TJ would always be like, "Oh yeah, look at the view from my room," and he would send me a text with a picture, and it would always be the top of the other building, and so it was like an industrial wasteland outside of his window.
In Texas, they call that the Jew room. That's where they put us. I'm just being honest. That's why they hate me in Texas.
TJ,
They really do. They hate me. That's a hate.
they
speech.
love
I'm
Jews.
allowed to say it.
I don't know what he's talking about.
They love him in Texas. He's huge in Texas.
Yeah.
Maybe in Canada.
All right, folks, for our next improvisation, we're going to play Maybe in Canada.
Oh,
Anybody's
God.
gonna say fucking anything, we'll
Please
tackle it
no.
Maybe I'm in Canada, and then we'll laugh as if it was funny. So
That's pretty much what we're all doing on Zoom now, isn't it?
I know.
Any improv show, because you can't hear people laughing, so we're all like laughing. Being
You
like,
have to
I do want to compliment you guys on something, because I'll be brutally honest. It was your show, honest to God, that helped me believe that improv on Zoom online could work.
Aw.
You guys have such an energy and a rhythm when you all perform together. I know there's different cast members who come in, different special guests, but it gives the appearance that you all as an ensemble have been playing together forever. You read each other so well. The laughs feel genuine, and I actually cite Girls Night In as an example of how to make improv work virtually.
Oh,
Oh,
bless you.
Thank you.
Very kind.
It's true.
Very,
And
very
if you
kind.
want to see it, you can follow us on Instagram.
We're on
you can
all of the
follow us
social
on
medias.
all of the platforms. Instagram, Twitter. For the mommies in the house, we are on Facebook. We're also on TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
What? Go ahead.
I will
Come on.
say the laughs are genuine. Like sometimes we get into giggle fits. I will speak for myself. Anytime Katie Klein plays, I know I just have to stay on mute because I will ruin everybody else's scene when she is
Oh.
performing. She's
I
just so funny. And also, here's a fun fact. This is some inside baseball. This is sports.
Blue Jays.
Jeez, thank you. Thank you. I don't know what song that is. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, maybe in Canada you do.
No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, I get it. I loved it. Sayjal, myself, and Carisa, like Carisa and Sayjal have met in real life, but I have never met Carisa or Sayjal in real life before. But I feel like seeing each other every single week and playing, I see you more than I see my husband.
I know.
And we
Oh,
live
yeah.
in the same house.
Yeah. Yes, that would be accurate. I
We
feel like
see
I
each
know.
other.
Like I feel like I've met you in real. Like I feel like we
Absolutely.
grew up together.
Same.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because I know you all from various things. I mean, Sayjal, you and I did the 50th
Houston.
anniversary second, well, Houston. but we also did that Denver, the 50th anniversary Second
Oh,
City
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Carissa, you and I have been doing Bizcos, and we did that random sketch show a decade ago with Kevin and Peacock, I think.
Yes,
That's
those were
right.
the people. Yeah.
And,
Oh,
and
man.
Ashley, you and I did one, maybe 2 ships together.
That's correct.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot
So-
you guys did ships together. That's right.
Which and we had such a great time doing that as well with Connor.
Yeah.
And but it begs the question, how did Girls Night In begin? I mean, I know the answer to this, but for people just tuning in, tell us how it began, tell us how this group got together, and tell us how you charted your own path.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna
It
let
started-
Carissa handle that one.
Go.
It started a long time ago. It started actually a really long time ago. Now we were doing She the People at Second City, and that's really how this all began. And She the People was an extremely fantastic show, not only here but also in Toronto. It was successful.
Oh.
It ran forever. It was. I mean, it's critically acclaimed, award winning,
And it was an IRL show
It was an IRL.
Yep.
It was one of those
on a
IRL shows
stage with
where
humans.
people came. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
very strange.
in the before times.
And then,
Oh.
Sorry, go. Yes.
Oh, I was just
Ashley.
gonna say there's this amazing Canadian book called Station 11, and the beginning of the show takes place on a Mirvish stage, which is like our Broadway, which is what She the People just did in 2020, and it's the beginning of the end of the world, and we were performing on a Mirvish stage at the beginning of the end of the world. It was a lot. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Yeah, we did
that's
Canadian
Wow.
Broadway kind of.
Wowie,
yeah,
wow.
basically Canadian
People.
Broadway, and we did American regional theater here.
That's absolutely accurate.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely accurate. And it was wonderful. And we all had a fantastic time. And then the end of the world happened, and we all had to go away to our little boxes that we all live in now. And I will be honest, that the first incarnation of this show started at Second City
Mhm.
as a free show that Second City offered. Girls Night In was a show that Carly and myself pitched to Second City as a way to keep going a little bit, and it became a free show there. We then separated amicably from Second City and became our own thing. And
We're an LLC now.
we are an LLC. We're
Hey.
official, but we, as Girls Night In, have been performing for probably 10 months together now, and that's been like a constant nonstop throughout the entire pandemic.
That's amazing. So, and given that Carly is from
Yes.
Toronto,
She's from Toronto.
is that kind of how? So, Ashley, is that how you got involved, or were you were you in the Canadian iteration of She the People? Was that what you were going
I
with
sure
that?
was. Yeah. So we did 2 versions of that show. We did kind of like 1 and then 1.5, where most of the RO was the same, but we changed a bit of things. We did callbacks in the second show. I was in those shows, and we toured it at Just for Laughs, and then the Canadian Broadway on Mirvish. And then, I don't actually know how I got involved. I'm assuming Carly, because I had only met Alex Belisle. But I do know that when I got that email, I was feeling such anxiety about everything. I just wept. I was so happy. I'm a huge crier anyway, but I was just like, yes, I would love to play. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then to learn that everyone was just so fabulous and loving and hilarious and smart was just, this has been a dream. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
It's interesting to me, and I feel this when I watch the show. And there's a few other Canadians. My friend Paloma has been a part of the
She
ensemble.
was on last night.
She's
Yeah.
great. She and I've done a project together, so it's great for me because I intersect with so many of you for so many different projects that it's like old home week when I get to understudy for Ayaka, which is great. But something that's always interested me, certainly since I've been directing at Second City, is the Toronto Second City and the Chicago Second City are very similar, but they're different. They're different geographically. Some of the training is different. Some of the expectations of the material created is different. Is it enlightening as Canadian Second City stage performers and Chicago Second City stage performers to kind of bring that shared but disparate knowledge? Are there moments when you go, oh, that's a cool fucking choice. Oh, I've not seen that before. This is an interesting game. It's a long way of saying, do you still learn things playing with people who have similar training that's actually a little bit different in some ways?
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think, yeah. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to the day when we actually do get to all play together in real life.
Yeah.
Cause it's going to be really weird and like, but it's so familiar at the same time. It's going to be the most bizarre thing. And I'm so excited. And we're going to have some sort of, we're going to go to the woods in Canada
are
and have a
going to the
retreat to just, and take magic mushrooms and get to know each other and then go do a show.
Can I, as an understudy, can I show up? Am I allowed to?
Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
I did feel self-conscious as a man, someone who identifies as a man, being brought in to understudy that for Ayaka. I did feel a little strange because one, I've the guilt of like, oh, there's probably so many women or people who identify as women who could be doing this right now. And you guys all welcomed me with such open arms. It was just a great experience. Like I said, it kind of turned the dial for me about what improv could be virtually. So I credit you guys for making me feel so good doing that.
Oh,
I feel like
Oh my God, guys.
we love having you. And honestly, I feel like while the show was created for like women to have a voice on stage, it is not exclusively for women to have a voice on stage. A girls' night out is for everybody.
Yeah, and when we say girls, we mean everybody.
Yeah.
Like girl.
Got it?
Like in our show, we have a lot of like the chat will come up and play a game in the audience participation game. So where you would have seen audience come up on stage in real life, they're coming up on the virtual stage with us.
Mhm.
And often it's I'm assuming gender here, but often it's men who come and play with us. And it's for everybody, and it's so much fun. Yeah.
So we've talked a couple times about how the chat works. How does the chat, in your estimation, as you're performing, feel like a replicated audience? Does it? I mean, it's obviously different than in an improv show. People calling out suggestions. You can certainly vet things better in the chat than you can. And in these curated shows, you're not getting the dildos of the world. I'm not referring to people. I'm referring to the suggestion.
Yes.
People are a little more guarded because your name's attached to it in the chat. It's a little less drunky, obnoxious, random, which we've all faced doing improv shows. But once you kind of learned your way around the chat, how does the chat feel when you're improvising? Do you feel inspired by it? Does it feel easier? Will it be strange to go back to live audiences now that you've been doing all the chat stuff? Talk about that a little bit.
I think it'll be super strange. Like they're the most weirdly, and you wouldn't think this, they're like the most intimate audience to us. Like we feel like we know them now, like all of them. It's weird. Like when someone new is in the chat, we're like, who's this? Like we legitimately know. It's bizarre how like we feel like we know them. Like, and I think part of it is social media too, because we interact with them in social media as well. And so it's like, there are different platforms that we interact with people on, but it's not like when you go into a show at a theater and then there's random audience in the house and like you may see someone you know. It's the opposite. We always see everyone we know in the chat, and like they're super supportive. And if someone were to jump in there and be like the dildo guy and be a jerk, oh, someone's saying bye now.
Yeah, hi.
Bye.
Not bye, hi.
Oh, hi. I thought they were like, I'm leaving.
Bye, baby.
Yeah, but like even now, it's like, yeah. So if someone were to jump in there and be like the dildo person or like someone shitty, the chat would just fucking descend on them and rip them to shreds. Like it's like the Beehive.
Sometimes we'll have like a tentative volunteer where they'll be like whisked up because they're like, oh, it's my birthday. And they're like, oh, it's, Tracy's birthday. Let's bring up Tracy. Ha ha ha. And the chat is so loving and so like, you're fucking crushing this. You're amazing, which is true. But
we're like all our best friends. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I will say performing with this particular chat, not in other shows I've done, but in this one, there's a bit, do y'all have the game Double Dutch? You know, the game where you're like going like this. Okay, just checking. I don't know. I didn't know what a catfish
was.
It's
Canadian. No.
That's
so you guys call it de Dutch.
Double Dutch. So it feels a bit like this where it'll be like performing, giving all here, and then you see the words going up, and every once in a while I'll glance over, and sometimes there's fact checkers. I made the mistake of portraying Brendan Fraser and forgot that Rachel Weisz wasn't in The Mummy 3. So George Young did tell me that, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. She wasn't in, and he was like, oh, sorry. I'm like, no, like I should have known that. I love Brendan Fraser. um, but yeah, so you're playing kind of double dutch of like dipping in, dipping out. Some of our games are designed that way, but it's really intimate. It's really fun.
It's so fun. And I'll be like, my mom's watching the show today. Say hi to my mom, Suzanne. And the chat's just like, Suzanne, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Like, everybody's so freaking cool. It's so awesome.
I also feel like it's almost a dual show happening.
Yeah.
Like you've got us happening, and we are what the chat is all focused on, but there is a show happening in the chat. Like the chat is also their own entertainment. Like they're entertaining themselves and us. So there's like almost a dual show happening. Or like sometimes the chat is just like, honest to God, funnier than us. And you have to stop and acknowledge that.
Or like we'll go to do a bit and someone in the chat does it right before we do it, and we're like, oh man, that was a good bit. That was really good.
Improv ringers in the chat.
Truly.
And and we involve them so much in the show. So like we play games with Audience Volunteers where we'll be like, cool, and the chat's also gonna be helping you out. So if you can't guess something, check in the chat. And the chat's in there like helping. And we'll be like, look down there, look in the chat. So yeah, definitely.
I also feel like this show is so specific, and being online, we had to find a way to make this work. And this is, I think, the way we make it work is engaging our chat throughout the show and making it interactive nonstop is a way to not only make them feel like they are part of the show, but they are the show, not just like, and that is why we get repeat watchers. Like we at Second City, we would never have this level of people coming back to see us over and over and over.
No, because they're coming to hang out with their friends too, as well as us, and see the show.
Yeah, they're the people that they know are in the chat. Like we did a secret Santa for the chat this year.
It was so much fun.
And it was so fun. It was so fun. Like we know our chat. Like we every once in a while are like, oh, we see Sarah's in the audience. How's the baby? She just had a baby. Like we are commenting. Yeah. We know their lives. They know ours. It's lovely. It truly is.
It's wild.
So join the chat.
Like
come join the chat.
There was one show I missed because I had a migraine, and I got like a DM from a chat audience member, and they're like, hey, just checking in, you all right? I was like,
where were you? Yeah, it's like the local watering hole.
Yeah,
that local internet watering hole we've created.
That's interesting because it is serving such a purpose, and it begs the question. I don't know if you guys saw this, but about a couple weeks ago, there was an article in the Chicago Tribune interviewing one of the artistic directors from Comedy Sports here, saying that even when the pandemic's over, they're going to be looking toward a virtual model for a lot of their work going forward.
Oh, yeah.
And not knowing how long we're going to be trapped in this nightmare. And even when the pandemic ends and we all get vaccinated, by the way, get vaccinated, everybody.
Lordy. I'm going to get them all. I'm getting all the different ones.
Sometimes. Me too. I'm going to go. I will take 1 AstraZeneca and 2 Roche.
I'm gonna get a Moderna.
I'm gonna get an Astra.
I gotta get the J&J. I'm gonna get
Oxford.
It begs the question: what does happen with an online property where you've built this community? Do you see yourself still continuing some semblance of a virtual presence once we're live again?
I do.
I think so.
I mean, I know that all of our schedules will be different once we're back in the live world, but I think we really set ourselves up for success by putting our show on a Tuesday night.
Oh my God,
it's not a classic night for theater, but it was while we were all in the pandemic and still are in the pandemic. There's like Tuesday night, Friday night. It doesn't really matter. Am I right? Like if you're gonna watch a TV show, or you're gonna watch this interactive thing for an hour,
and hang out with your friends. Yeah.
So I feel like even when we go back to the real, quote unquote, real world, and we're all on stage again, I think there is still going to be a need for this, because that's how I'll get to play with Ashley. That's how I get to play with my new Canadian friends who I literally met and performed with through this show. I didn't get to perform with like Anne Pornell, Kirsten, and Paloma, and the list goes on and on. We are now like a mixed bag of like improvisers, and we need to keep doing it.
And even our friends in LA and stuff, it's like even our other friends in the US, it's like we get to play with anybody in the world.
Right.
And so we can reach out to our friends in LA and stuff that we haven't played with in forever or seen in forever and bring them on the show like we did with Nicole. So it's super fun.
We even have people from England joining us. Like we had Flo and Joan, who are like superstars. Check out their Prime special. It's amazing. It's called Flo and Joan Alive on Stage. And like they came and they're massive in the UK. And then we put them on a brunch show so that UK people could watch it at a more reasonable time. We've got Katie Shoot coming up. Like it's really cool to be able to meet, play, connect in a way that you could only really do if you could afford to travel to festivals before.
Well, and it brings up the fact with this audience community you all have built doing the show. Now it's another incentive for them to go out. I mean, I'm not implying that the girls at an audience wouldn't have ordinarily gone out to see live theater, but now they're part of your community. They're going to want to see you, whether it's here in Chicago or in Toronto or on tour someplace. You've kind of built a community that's been trained to see improv and to interact. It is going to be interesting when people are live and all of a sudden you can't chat your bits. You got to keep your bits to yourself. Well, in a live setting, fun chat is also known as a heckling asshole. So you got to be kind of careful, right?
I mean, that is kind of the dream though, in terms of like going on tour. It's like, yeah, we would love to take this show on the road eventually if it's possible. And we joke about it sometimes in the show where we're like, we're going to come to your town, but like, we kind of would love to do that. I mean, I think it'd be really fun. I mean, we all came from the stage, and back to the stage we would like to go. So
yes. You know, I actually have never thought of this until just now. In and on. Oh, hello. Oh, see, yes, the chat is very wholesome. I agree that it's, even though we are dirty little mouthed babies, but the whole thing is wholesome. Oh my goodness. Kevin, you're right. Everybody is correct. He's literally right there.
Floor boyfriend is
across the floor in a minute.
chatting from inside the apartment.
Yeah, he is so close. You'll see him crawl across. I'll make sure we see him.
Okay.
But I feel like the show is going to be, I have such like ideas of when we go back to the stage of how to keep the chat alive. And I want to keep that idea of they can interact with us throughout the show, maybe using text, maybe something else. But like, I do feel like we can tour this show live with like same feel. And I'm just so excited for that.
Yeah, why not? I mean, maybe everyone's got the same Slack page and there's a projection screen. It's not that difficult. No. It's so interesting because they seem much like improv virtually. Suggestions in chat, suggestions live feels very different, but you're kind of creating this model as you go. In some respects, do you ever think of yourselves as trailblazers? Not just the fact that it's majority women. I'm talking about, this is for Kevin. I'm afraid of the Portland Trailblazers, the great NBA team up the Northwest.
I love sports.
But I know you do. I love your comments on the basketball show, Chris. It's so funny. Talk about Ralph Macchio. I know you do. Thank you for that.
I like it.
I mean, and I will call you guys this. You are trailblazers. It's not just the fact that it's a female-driven show, but the fact that you're achieving this foothold online. We're going to look back on this in 5-10 years and go, wow, Girls Night In was the first to do this and kind of figure it out. That's cool.
I hope so. I think that'd be awesome.
Our next step is truly, and this is, thank you so much for having us on your show to try to do this. We're trying to find more audience. Like we love our chat so much, but we've realized we're at like that place that we're kind of at like the top of how we can find our audience. Now we need other people to help us expand our audience. Like we've reached a breaking point. So please help us.
Well, and I know you all have to run to a rehearsal in just a minute or two, but I want to play the promo, talk about it for just a minute, and then I'll let you guys go. But it's so fun. I love you all individually. I love you all as a group. TJ. So it's so fun to have you on. Let's take a look at the Girls Night In promo for the Valentine's Day show. That's this Saturday, the 13th at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, also known as Toronto time, I guess. Let's take a look at this promo right here. Let's see here. And I know we just have a few minutes of your time. Couple more quick questions before you go. GNI.com is the best way to get information. Carissa, you sent the Eventbrite link. It's too big to put up here.
Oh, no,
so
sorry.
no, it's fine, but GNI.com will give you all the information. GNI.com sounds like a military industrial complex. Bought an AK-47 on GNI.com.
Insurrection.
Guns and insurrection. If you like Guns and Roses. Yeah, way too soon. Talk about this because I know the answer, but for people watching who aren't improvisers, you've all done stages at the Second City. You've made it all very high in the level of improv and sketch comedy. Do you get nervous online? Is there a different feeling of nerves when you're doing improv online, or is it the same feeling as taking the stage?
I think the thing that makes me the most nervous is that my tech's gonna fuck up.
Yeah,
honestly. Like I mean, I've been on in shows where it's like all of a sudden shit just goes dark or blank, and you're like, well, fuck. Like there's nothing that you can do, but it's like that's like. I mean, now I guess you get used to anything, so now I'm not as nervous about that. But to me, that's the scariest thing. I know when Kevin crawls across the floor, he might pull out a cord.
Yep.
Like that.
He has. The dog pulls out the cord, and then I'm like, "Oh, goodbye,
Intentionally?
everybody." Yeah, I think so. He's done with comedy. He's not very funny. The
Doesn't
dog
like comedy.
doesn't like comedy.
Very high, someone said.
Very high.
That's a good recommendation.
Mhm.
All right, thank
So-
you, sir.
So generally, the nerves aren't performative when you're improvising online, especially with all the skill under your belt. The nerves are primarily technical. Is that fair?
I feel like at first I was very nervous to see if this format would work, and that was when we were
Yeah.
kind of shaping the show. So there was some nerves there, but now, honestly, you could do everything in the world. Yes, G&I show.
Yeah.
You can do everything in the world to prep. Like I have slides, I have the script, I wrote this funny thing, and okay, then everybody is in their rooms. Shut up. And no matter what, like then, like if there's a storm, your power goes out, or like the fucking heater starts going in the middle of something, and it's like.
Sometimes my cat screams.
Oh,
She
Yeah.
screams.
you really got to take the note, Sayjal.
I know. She's like, all of our pets are sick of our shit.
Yeah.
Ashley, I'm sorry, you were muted, please.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna be like, Toby is the same, my little dog, and we're in the middle apartment of a house, so the other people order lots of packages, as you do during the pandemic, and they always ring the bell because there's lots of porch pirates in the neighborhood who steal stuff. So every time they ring the bell, he goes nuts, and I'm always on a show. They never come when I'm not on a show.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? I'm like,
You mentioned
they're
that-
coming late.
You mentioned our mutual friend, Katie Klein. She and I do a project together called the Shalom Collaboration. And anytime we're on, the only time the L train goes by is when she begins to speak. It's one of those amazing moments of like, well, no L for 10 minutes while I was ranting, and now Katie speaks, and there goes the L. Yeah, I know you guys all have to run to a rehearsal, but I want to thank you for coming on. Let me plug this one more time. This is Saturday the 13th. Carisa Barreca, Sayjal Joshi, Ashley Comeau, all friends of mine. I love you individually. I love your work, and I wish you the best. Everybody get tickets. Go to Eventbrite. You can find the info at gnishow.com. Don't go to gni.com. That's Guns and an Erection.
Don't know what
Great
that- yeah.
Warren Zevon song, by the way. But yeah, thank you all for being on the show, and we'll see you Saturday the
Thank you
13th
for
at 12
having us.
Central. Girls'
Thank
Night
you,
In.
TJ.
Thank you
I'm
so
glad.
much, TJ. Honestly, we love you so much. Mwah!
Carisa Barreca, Ashley Comeau, Sayjal Joshi, all friends of mine, all Second City alumni doing their own thing now. gnishow.com. It's really, really funny. I mean, I've been lucky to understudy for them, but they're such a talented group. They're all nice people. They have a great rhythm together, and they've proven that improv actually works on the interwebs. So make sure you tune into that. That's about it. This has been kind of a special edition of PM Chicago for Real. Go to Eventbrite, go to gnishow.com and get tickets for the Saturday brunch. It's going to be awesome, featuring the special Canadian guests. And yeah, that's it. Tune in later tonight right here on Twitch, Chicago for Real, 6 p.m. This is amazing. Bochinche at night. Lorena Diaz, Wendy Mateo, all the regulars, all the Bochin chairs are going to be on. More programming. Check your local listings. Yeah, buy a fucking TV guide and see what happens. You can't buy a TV guide anymore. But stay with us all night here in Chicago for Real. Then tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central, Katie Klein and I present Shalom Chicago. We have Rachel Mason. We have Susan Messing. John Sabine is our non-Jew of the week. We're going to talk to John tomorrow. He's from Texas. Maybe he'll hate me. No, I don't think so. I think we get along pretty well, actually. Yeah, this has been Chicago for Real. We have a couple comments before we go. Let's see who the comments are from. Can't wait for Saturday, says Kevin. Yeah, Kevin, I agree with that. I'm going to do this in about an hour. Let's not kid anybody. And the show's the best. Join the chat, everyone. Thank you all. Boo, Sabine. You don't hear that phrase, but Sabine's a universally loved. There's like 8 people in improv. I'm not one of them who everybody loves. Sabine's one of them. Look at this. And Carissa commenting on her own appearance. What a cast. Cannot wait till tomorrow. I love you, Carissa. Thanks for coming on again. Everybody go to gnishow.com. I'm TJ Shanoff. This has been a special edition of PM Chicago for Real. We'll see you later for Bochinche at night with Lolo and Wendy. Stay with us. This has been PM Chicago for Real. Bye, everybody.